The human body is a complex machine, capable of so much more than we ever realized. It's amazing what our bodies can do. In this post, I'm going to share with you 10 facts about the human body that will make you think twice about how amazing your own body really is. The human brain has more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. It's estimated that there are about 100 billion neurons in our brains, and each connection between them is called a synapse. That's why I told you to imagine an ant walking across a field of grass. If you look at the number of ants on one side of your screen, multiply by 5,000, the number of ants per square mile, then divide by 50%, the average life expectancy, and add 100%, the population density, you'll get roughly how many ants there were at any given moment in time, and that amount will definitely shock you. The surface area of a human lung is about 70 square meters, or the size of a tennis court. It's been said that the surface area of a human lung is about 70 square meters, or the size of a tennis court. But if you ask me, I think it's more like 10 times larger than that. The surface area of my heart is about 100 square meters. I'll admit, the thought of having such a large organ inside your body makes me feel very small and vulnerable. But what do I know? I'm just an ordinary person who has no idea how big my organs really are. The human heart pumps enough blood in an average lifetime to fill over 2 oil tankers. The human heart is the most powerful muscle in the body and can beat up to 600,000 times per day. It's also one of only 2 muscles that can be seen externally, the other being the eye. The average adult male has a resting heart rate of 60 bpm while women have a resting rate of 48 bpm. That's how fast your pulse races when you take off running or jump off something high. But wait, there's more. The average person has multiple hearts throughout their lifetime because they're so small and fragile that they need extra protection from damage caused by stress on them during exercise or injury. The human body has enough fat to make 7 bars of soap. If you've ever wondered what your own body looks like, this is the answer. It's not just one person, it's millions and millions of cells that are all connected together. The average size is around 5 pounds, 2.3 kilograms. That's right. Your entire body could fit inside a bar of soap. And that doesn't even include all the other stuff on its surface like hair follicles and sweat glands. The possibilities here are endless as long as we keep adding more soap until there isn't enough room to move around anymore, because then we'll start building castles out of lard instead. The human nose can detect over 1 trillion different scents. That's over 1,000 times more than you can smell with your own nose alone. How does the human body detect these smells? With the help of receptors called olfactory receptors, which are located on the surface of cells in your nose. These receptors pick up molecules that enter through tiny holes in each cell and pass along information to other parts of your brain where it's processed into something resembling a scent, or worse, a memory. Some people may find this surprising because they're used to thinking about smell as something simple, like what foods taste like or how much perfume someone wears, but there are actually many different types of scents out there. Some examples include citrus fruits like oranges or lemons, spices such as cinnamon or nutmeg, flowers like roses or violets, chemical compounds like ammonia from urine, odors from skincare products, eau de toilette. The human body has enough iron to make a nail 3 inches long. You might not think that your body has enough iron to make a nail, but it does. Your blood, liver and heart are all full of the mineral. The bone marrow is even more concentrated because it's where all of the red blood cells, the cells that carry oxygen, are made. It might seem like there's enough stored in your bones to last you forever, and that's true. But if you were to lose just 1% of this precious resource every year from now until eternity, that's about 10% over 100 years, then you'd be out of luck when it comes time for our next big adventure, space travel. The human eye can distinguish over 10 million different colors. The human eye contains 3 types of color receptors: red, green, and blue. It's not just how many colors we can distinguish, it's also how quickly we can discriminate them. For example, if you were to stare at a red apple for 5 minutes straight and then look at a yellow one for 5 minutes straight, your brain would register that difference as more distinct than it would if you were only looking at one type of apple for 5 minutes each time, which is what happens in real life. The human mind has evolved to process visual information very quickly so that we can react to changes in our environment without delay. For example, when someone asks you if they should run away from something dangerous or not, your response will be instantaneous because your brain doesn't have time to analyze this question before giving an answer. Instead, it just sends signals through your body telling all parts including muscles which move exactly how much force needed without second thought or hesitation. The human ear can hear sounds as low as 20 Hz and as high as 20,000 Hz. This means that the human ear can hear sounds between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz, the limit of human hearing in air. The lowest audible sound that we humans can detect is 0.000001 cycles per second, 20 meters per second. This corresponds to a frequency of 0 cycle per second. The human body has enough carbon to make 900 pencils. Carbon is a key ingredient in all things mechanical, from pencils to toothbrushes and even your own skeleton. It forms the basis for many important molecules that help keep you alive, and there's plenty more where that came from. We are incredibly complex creatures that run on tiny amounts of energy, but at the same time we're incredibly resilient too. You might be surprised to learn that the human body is incredibly complex. It runs on tiny amounts of energy and yet it's incredibly resilient too. We're amazing. The human brain alone has over 100 billion neurons, which makes it one of the largest organs in your body. That's right. Your brain weighs as much as a small car or truck. It also contains an estimated 100 trillion synapses, the connections between neurons. Each time you think or feel something, these synapses communicate with other nearby cells to form new connections and create new thoughts, feelings or memories, all without any help from anyone else at all. It can be easy to forget about all the amazing things that our bodies do. But when we do remember, we should be thankful for what our bodies can do.